to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup from my family. They're so innocent. This is soup from my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's a perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup from my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people. Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know. Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know. Good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
They're not accountable to anyone. I get 10 to 12 million views a month, and they won't come out and address my progressive audience. Show up today at our town hall. Every fucking one of them is selling you out. And
watch Hillary examine the terrain. Watch a campaign with the man Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine in the membrane. Tim Kaine in the brain.
And by the way, I don't think that's some grand conspiracy. I think this is sort of what power is. I mean this at a sort of high level.
You know, the truth of the matter is that when you listen to some of my policies, no. The truth of the matter is, in a lot of ways, Richard Nixon was more liberal than I was.
8 months after his alleged meeting with the Burmese executives, so this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese, a real beautiful company.
That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by the go. You know the thing. But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black, and you ain't black.
In case you don't know, and you haven't seen the latest polls, the American people hold the President of the United States in contempt. They hold this institution in contempt. They hold the Republican Party in contempt. They hold the Democratic Party in contempt. They think that maybe, given all of the crises facing this country, it's about time that there was some bold leadership here and that this institution made some hard choices.
they're not accountable to anyone. I get 10 to 12 million views a month, and they won't come out and address my progressive audience.
Oh, yeah, you're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but now you gotta be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you. Oh, yeah, you're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but now you gotta be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Hello, users, and sorry to start off today's show with some cringe, but my God, can you see this shit? Can you, like, is this visible to you? What has to happen? I mean, I guess at this point we know I guess your boss has to lose the presidential campaign, but what has to happen in your life for you to tweet this? Right? Like, seriously, like, think about it. Pontificate for a moment. I'm sorry, I hate to be ad hominem here, but, like, damn, like, this speaks for itself. This speaks for itself. Clearly, the Force the Vote march did not go well in Washington, D.C. I've got bad news, and it appears that only a couple people showed up. And those couple of people, well...
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be a piece of shit, but, like, my lord. This was the event. Remember when I said there was going to be, like, anywhere from 20 to 50 people? Remember? Amazing. God damn. This Force the Vote thing, I'm sorry, but this Force the Vote thing has become, like, really funny. We're at the point in Force the Vote where it's like when Donald Trump lost the election for the 4th time, like when it was, like, all certified or something. And then that's when, like, you started seeing, like, all these lawyers come up, and then, like, you know, Mitch McConnell was like, congratulations to Biden or whatever, and all these people are like, stop the steal, and then you see the Georgia rally where it's like, fight for Trump. This is like, we're at that point now. We're at that point where it's gone from, like, kind of scary and kind of, like, bizarre and, like, what the fuck is going on to, we know exactly what this is, and it's fucking funny as fuck, dude. Like, this is like when you see, like, the Trump supporters, like, on the fucking windows, like, screaming, like, you know, at people. Like, remember the fucking, like, the actual Stop the Steal rallies, like, the night of the election? Like, it's just, like, it, you know, it's just, this has become really funny. I'm sorry, but again, this is what happens when you support AOC and Bernie. This is what happens when you don't. And it's not even, again, when you go against them more specifically, because they've been attacking AOC for a while now. And I don't know, man. I'm sorry, but again, I called this. Like, this fucking Force the Vote thing is a sham. I feel sorry for everyone that, like, actually spent money going there. Like, if you're in DC for, like, a couple days, like, just ditch that shit and go, like, do another protest. You know, like, maybe, you know, go to, you know, get some takeout from some local food joints. If you want some recommendations, let me know. But, like, seriously, my God, is this bad? This is so bad. And it gets worse. And it gets what you might be thinking, wait a second. What? It gets worse? Yeah, it does. Check it out. So here's a really nice tweet chain here from Wokerism that I thought, like, summed this up pretty well. So Bree Joy Gray, again, who's, I guess, and, like, this is like her version of a midlife crisis or something. I don't know what's going on. Kentucky Fried Comrade, can you come on the show briefly to put into perspective how stupid this is? Yeah, sure, why not? Add me on Discord. You got 5 minutes, bitch. Add me on Discord. But again, so Bree Joy Gray here has been having this little, like, meltdown. Like, she's going through, like, a midlife crisis, but, like, with her career. Or I guess, like, maybe an end-of-life crisis with her career. I'm not sure what's going on. So, apparently, some subsection of DSA or something, they put out an email to gauge interest on Force the Vote. And basically, long story short, no one gave a fuck. And, like, barely anyone interacted with the thing. And Bree Joy is saying because the people that did interact, again, if you don't support Force the Vote, why would you click the button? You would just, like, skim over and say, whatever. If you support Force the Vote, duh, you're going to click the fucking button and you're going to click the thing and you're going to vote on your little website form. If you don't support Force the Vote, you're just going to go to the next email, right? So it's like, okay, Okay, right, but she's taking this as a huge win, and again, we have a really nice fucking tweet thread here that's just, like, extremely funny, but let's see. We're gonna have Kentucky Fried Comrade come on and give me a co-op debunk or dunk. Debunk and then also dunk. So, get in here. You have 3 seconds to answer the call. Hello? Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. So you've been on Twitter. You've been enjoying the shit show. You've been making fun of her.
I've been in and out of it. I actually do want you to finish this particular line of thought because it's so good.
Okay, so you interrupted me. The line of thought has lost. What was I saying?
No, you were reading the wokeism thread.
Right, okay, so I'm going to read the rest of this. Just so we're clear, DSA National surveyed members about FTV and found only 20 members in support. FTV held a rally today, which Metro DC DSA included in a notice in our weekly digest, and only about 24 people came. DSA isn't holding FTV back. The energy just isn't there. I know, like, that's the worst thing. Like, imagine you're Brianna Joy Gray and you're thinking, this is going to be the start of something. I'm going to go there and everything is going to change. And then, like, no one shows up. And, like, that's the thing. To
me, that entire, like, tweet is actually, like, the most crushing thing possible. Because it exposes, like, 3 or 4 different things. One being, no, this isn't, like, a vote on the, like, this isn't the vote that the DSA had that, like, Brianna Joy Gray pretends it is. No, it's like a handful of people of a subcommittee. And of that subcommittee, they couldn't get a quorum, and most people didn't care. And then they also
most people are like, wait,
it.
What? Like, most people are probably like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking like most people just don't know what the fuck this is, dude.
Yeah, and as wokeism put it, I don't know them in particular per se, but like the way they put it is basically like, yeah, like this is like I'm putting a little bit of my own editorial here, but like this is a flash in the pan thing that came out of nowhere that none of us were prepared for. We weren't doing like political planning for it, so it's just like, what do we look at it like? Oh,
well,
off,
you're forgetting the crucial fact that Jimmy Dore came up with the idea all by himself in 2 weeks. Remember, it took him 2 weeks. So I don't know if it only took him 2 weeks. Can you really blame him for not having an organizational apparatus behind it? But also at the same time, you don't need organizations like they're DSA dickheads in Brooklyn, right?
Oh, yeah, no, they're just a bunch of, like, they're actually, like, corporate shells, last I heard.
I mean, I just, oh my god, this whole thing is just really funny. Like, the whole thing, like that's the thing, it's like, not only, and again, let me go back to this tweet with the, I would have stood there alone. I'm, like, this is sad to look at. Like, this, literally, when I saw this, my heart sank. Like, I was like, no. Because, like, I saw the tweet itself first before she, like, quote tweeted it. And I was like, yo, that tweet is hilarious. That is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Right. And then someone showed me the fucking quote tweet. And I, like, again, my brain exploded. Like, if you see this, why would you boost this?
So I come at it from like a slightly different perspective. I agree with you. It is fucking hilarious, especially for a lot of like background, like behind the scenes stuff. But like in my most fairest of fair brains, it's like I've known Bree's work. I have a lot of respect for her. But to see her just like have this weird meltdown over the past 24 hours is just like comical and disgusting.
The thing is, it's been building up. Like, it's been building up for like the last few weeks, and this is like the culmination of it. You know, this is like when you're playing Pokemon and you use Bide, and then like the fucking C-Dot takes 15 fucking turns, and then once you get that attack in there, you're good. You won the battle.
Well, and so I mentioned something about like kind of like contextual stuff behind this image. The first image of the Bernie rally, the one that's, you know, has like a bunch of an actual bunch of people.
Aren't those the DSA dickheads in Brooklyn though?
Oh no, that's just that's the health insurance companies.
Right.
But the unstated fact behind this image is that I have several friends. I think you have several friends who are kind of like within the same sphere. We like literally had friends who were on that bridge in the background who couldn't get into the park because there were just too many people at the time.
Yeah.
And so they were on the bridge taking pictures from the bridge because that was as close as they could get. So this image doesn't even do it justice. Meanwhile, you've got like a handful of people who like are like I made the joke on Twitter that, you know, I'm thankful there wasn't a Guy Fawkes mask in it, or a V for Vendetta mask for people who don't know what that means.
This is just so like I have the
pathetic.
image enlarged.
It's pathetic.
It's like I see like literally like I have seen spontaneous protests because I used to live in DC. So I have seen literal spontaneous protests happen in 30 minutes that have more people than this. Like, that's why this is so bad. In 3 to 4 weeks, this is the culmination. And I know it's a pandemic. I know people are poor. Maybe Jimmy, instead of getting those $5,000 super chats and trying to save up for a pool or a jacuzzi, maybe if he were to start funding people's travels or something, maybe he'd get more people to show up. Or maybe if Jimmy himself...
you talked about it for longer than 2 weeks, well, maybe people could plan around it.
But again, this is just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And I've got some clips here. Actually, I don't know if you want to stay on the line. I've got some clips here that...
Well, I want to let you do your thing. I don't want to, take up too much oxygen in the room. But I do have, a couple last things I want to say about that specifically. And I do...
Go for it.
If you can keep that image on screen.
Oh, it will be on screen. I might actually make this the new background of my, you know how it's like Nancy Pelosi in the car? I might make this the new background of my stream. Like, this is the 2021 edition.
No, but you brought up this point, and I've heard it a couple times in different contexts of people saying oh, well, pandemic. And yes, that is true. I don't want to discount that per se.
I mean, let me also say that there were hundreds of thousands of people celebrating when Joe Biden won the election. So,
oh, certainly, but even not just that per se, because that is such an event in and of itself. But you had people around the country. Not just in Minneapolis, but in San Diego. I literally went to one of the marches. I saw the groups of people marching for George Floyd.
Oh, it was every city. Almost every literally almost every city that has a population above 10 had some sort of event for it. And that's the thing is you could do that with Force the Vote. You can do that with anything, but they just didn't for some reason.
But the point that I'm getting at is people activated on that very simple thing of police murdered somebody unjustly, and people were fed up and disgusted by the unjust treatment of the police against people of color and against poor people generally speaking. And people were able to recognize that, activate, and go march in the streets together. And they were able to do that on a fucking dime.
Yeah, overnight.
These are just podcasters. Saying oh, we want to do a thing now. And
that's the thing,
okay,
though.
You want to do a thing.
That's the thing is it's incredible. These people, again, 35, I know Brianna Joy Gray has actually lost some money on her Patreon, but, she has all this money. But then, again, how do you have $35,000 a month on Patreon and you can't get 500 people here yourself? That's what I'm saying. You've got all these people that are clearly extremely wealthy. Why can't you get them to show up?
Well, this gets to my other joke that I made about this image, and I made this on Twitter. I think you saw it. I don't remember if you did or something, but I've literally gone to Chapo Trap House live shows. Those, you have to pay $25 to get in.
The actual in-person live shows?
Yeah, the actual in-person live shows. And Virgil Texas is a person on her show. So
where has he? I don't pay attention to him, right? So I barely know anything about any of the Chapo people. But like, the idea that I have not seen a single tweet or statement from that guy in the last month, that tells me something. And maybe he's out there doing a thing. I'm just somehow missing it. Maybe, right? Maybe. But like, where is he right now?
Well, I don't know, and I can't speak for him, but the thing is, like, just to kind of expand on what you're saying, I haven't seen anything from the Chapo crew like promoting this mindset. Period.
Like any of them?
None of them.
Oh my god.
And maybe I've missed something. I'm not like watching all of them like a hawk or anything, but I haven't seen anything from any of them really promoting this kind of nonsense. And the fact of the matter is a Chapo Trap House live show gets more attendance than this rally did, and people have to fucking pay to be there.
Stop. I'm gonna be honest. If I organized an event and had 4 weeks to do it, I feel like I could do something better. I'm not even joking. Like if I had 4 fucking weeks.
This is sloppy nonsense bullshit.
Was it like this is the event with like Nico House and stuff, right? Like maybe like what, don't team up with people like Nico House if you want to have like some sort of event. I don't know. Like I know I was turned off by that. Like, and I'm sure plenty of people were.
Well, I think it's actually pretty interesting you bring up Nico House. I think Nico House could put up like a post on his favorite foot fetishist forum about like, exclusive Tulsi Gabbard feet pics and get more turnout than this fucking rally did.
It's just so bad. It's so and like God bless everyone
really
who showed up, because like I know they think they're doing something, and they're I know that they're like, at least some of them are like in good faith and they think they're doing something, and they're just they're in the podcaster world and they want to be an activist because they they want to do all this stuff, but they don't really have the gateway for it, so they just follow their favorite podcaster. I get it, I understand, and God bless them, but wowie.
There is another aspect to this. This will be kind of my last thing, but I do think it is like pretty funny.
Is there any way we can crank up your speaking to 1.25x?
There is a handful of videos from the perspective of the speakers who like aren't looking at the audience, and so they are going back and forth. And just like they're treating it like a professional political rally. And
I'm gonna actually show a video of Nick Brana right after you're done here.
It's hilarious.
Anyway, oh my god, I gotta watch the Brie one too, but I forgot to fucking open that. Maybe I'll do that one. I don't know. But the fucking Nick Brana one, he's like, I guarantee motherfucking to you that like little speech is going to be remastered in like a campaign ad like in the next 6 months for something. Like I guarantee fucking to you, like with him with the fucking like just with he's in the winter and he's speaking in front of nobody. Like, what I mean?
It's like it is amazing. It is literally the meme from Arrested Development of there's dozens of us.
Yeah. I have more people watching the stream right now than we're at this rally. That's not necessarily comparable, but I'm going to take it as a win. I'm going to take it as a win.
It's also true.
So
I just want to say real quick, I love your work, Andrea, and thanks for having me on. I want to let you do your thing, but yeah, thanks for having me here.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Goodbye. It's also pronounced Andrea, but you have a good one. I'm going to censor their free speech. Anyway, thank you for that one. Impromptu, guest commentary. That's less work for me. And guess what? I'm not going to give him a cut of the check. Fuck that guy. Right? So thank you for that one. But anyway, I want to make fun of this motherfucker. Because this is some really interesting stuff. And I just really want to get into this. So this is like some really and I want to highlight my usage of the word interesting. Because that's what this is. This is not this is a whole host of other adjectives and descriptors, but interesting, I believe, is, I think, the most, like, just because it's not necessarily negative, it's not necessarily positive, it makes you just want to look into this a little bit more, right? So I just want to classify this clip as interesting. So I want you to watch this clip. And I'm considering scrolling down because, like, I know, like, maybe I'll queue up the fucking Twonky song, but this clip is very interesting.
Medicare for All forcing a vote on Medicare for All was the centerpiece of the DSA strategy just a year ago, until apparently a movement arose about it. Here's the movement to make that happen. There are organizations on the left. This is...
Reminder, I just want to remind everybody that this is the movement that they're referring to. That's the movement. Right? So when this guy gets up on the steps and he's like, there's a movement. By the way, he's misrepresenting the DSA forcing of the vote. That's like a strategy that you go into. It's not you force a vote without any fucking, like, public, like, you know, publicity campaigns or promotion campaigns, right? That's not what that, like, forcing the vote is a multi-step procedural process, right? When DSA outlined it. So he's misrepresenting DSA and then throwing them under the bus, which is like the largest organizational apparatus that supports a socialist agenda. But now again, I want to remind you, Nick Brana, who's this guy, you might be asking? This is a very interesting and this is very interesting and bizarre material that we're all currently viewing, right? So who is this individual, right? Nick Brana is someone that got kicked out of the Bernie 2016 campaign and then tried to do a draft Bernie for a third party thing. And Bernie was kind of like, I'm going to just pretend you don't exist right now. And so Nick Brana got personally upset. So he started the Movement for a People's Party, which is just a narcissistic, anti-democratic means to get in charge of something. Like, why is there a Green Party when there's a Libertarian Party? Well, both of them want people to be in the leadership positions. Look at the last 2020 Green primary, where they just wouldn't let certain candidates on the ballots, right? Where the campaign of, Howie Hawkins was run by, like, other leadership that had actual levers of power in the Green Party, right? And they wouldn't let certain people vote. It was a totally corrupt bunk process because they just wanted to have their name. Oh, I'm in the Green Party. And that's what this version of another party is. This is the People's Party, or rather the Movement for a People's Party, right? Because they're not a party yet, because, like, they've had 4 years and they haven't even registered as a party? What? You were gonna get Bernie motherfucking Sanders on your ticket and you were not even gonna register as a party you had 3 years to register as a party and you didn't do so, right? So, okay. So it's a Movement for a People's Party. So I want you to understand that, and then let's go in.
It's been a moment that has really been disappointing, I think, to many of us on the left, because now this is so...
Now, I want to say, I don't know much about Nick Brana, right? I'm studying this character over the last couple of days, right? Maybe 48 hours. This guy is trying to include himself on the left, and I think that's like a grifter thing. Like, when people say us on the left, I feel like, I don't know, it pushes me away, like it's kind of icky.
So desperately needed. Like so many of us know, there were 30 million people who were already uninsured before coronavirus. Another 15 million people have lost their health insurance during coronavirus. We're the only major country on earth that doesn't guarantee health care as a human right.
Now, this is, again, with my problem with these folks, is they utilize these arguments that sound like they're for, like, centrist Democrats, right? Like, that's what they're doing, is they're trying to convince you to support Medicare for All, when the whole disagreement on the left, which is what this guy's trying to, like, he's framing the conversation as an intra-left conversation, right? And then he's making these arguments that are just weird arguments for Medicare for All when everyone already agrees with that. That's what everyone agrees with, right? So again, it's this weird kind of like trying to convince you that other leftists aren't for Medicare for All. It's like a super manipulative fucking framing. Ugh.
That's wrong. It's wrong. This is our greatest moment of leverage. They are never...
Our greatest moment of leverage to get Medicare for All wasn't in the Bernie Sanders campaign in 2020. Reminder, Nick Brana was saying Bernie is a cuck. Jimmy Dore was saying Bernie is a cuck. right? Like, don't support Bernie, support Tulsi Gabbard, right? Like, so the most important moment, the most in time when we had the most leverage was not when Bernie won Nevada. No, it's right now. When Biden is president-elect and Trump is president and we have a Republican Senate. Now's the time with the leverage. What? Like, right? I just...
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
They're gonna need us more than they do now. We have to make use of this. What good is a pay-go exemption for Medicare for all if you can't bring Medicare for all to the floor of the House?
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Okay, so... Like, again, now, can we just talk about this way of speaking? Wah! Like, every time this guy speaks, he flaps his arms like a bird. I'm sorry, like, it got really kind of, like, over the top at the end there. But my problem with this is, like, again, if we want to force a vote for a whole host of things, that's great. I think Medicare for All is not the highest on the priority list, because even if it did pass, it would be passed with an implementation and transitional period that wouldn't help anyone in the short term, whereas we can have a rent moratorium, we can have, like, student loan forgiveness right now, we can have, like, stimulus right now, there's leverage for that right now. So I think it's a mismanagement of priority. That's my first criticism of forced vote. The second is, like, okay, a pay-go exemption for Medicare for All is first order, and then second order is acquiring more co-sponsors, and then third order is forcing a vote. That's what that is. It's a multi-step process. Now, again, does it suck that this is what we have to put up with? Absolutely. But if we're going to try to change the government, that's what you're getting into. You're trying to force a parliamentary procedure for Medicare for All. If that's your thing, if you're going to rely on electoralism, then you got to realize the realities of the electoral process. Now, again, if you want to say the electoral process is bunk, which personally, right, I wouldn't organize the thing for forcing the vote. I wouldn't organize a mutual aid organizational process. I would try to get community members out to do a march and then meet each other and greet each other, add each other on fucking whatever social media, get in touch with each other, give each other like fucking whatever. Like, that's what I would advocate for. I would advocate for decentralized things that we can do right now. I would advocate for things that are actually good in the short term. I would say, like, again, if you could organize an entire community and help each other pay each other's rent, or if someone needs a place to stay and everyone knows and people are not afraid of being homeless, that can be very transformational, right? And if you've got a podcast, right, with hundreds of thousands of listeners, why wouldn't you advocate for something like that? Why? Because you're unimaginative. You're not a socialist, you're not a communist, you're not an anarchist, you're a social democrat at best who doesn't give a fuck about anything but himself. And the only way that he can try to, like, float their not, and I'm talking about Jimmy Dore, I'm talking about Nick Brana, I'm talking about all these freaks that are doing the force the vote thing. The only way that they can find themselves at the center of attention is by latching on to popular politicians. And it's just pathetic, it's embarrassing, and you're going to see this shit in a campaign ad a couple months from now, and it's going to be funny.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Unbelievable. Whew. Anyway, I kind of had a long opening there, right? Hello, Dev J. Hello, Mike Silver. Hello, Sparky the Goat. Plateau of Leng. Hello, Cloud. Mr. Freak Glitcher. Hello, Ronnie M. Hello, Space is Fake. Hello, Jeffrey Bruce. Hello, A. Bojakal. What? Hello, Kentucky Fried Space Comrade. Hello, Adrian Orici. Hello, Don. Hello, Try 3. I think that's Spoopy Penguin. Nick. But is it art? JL. Die P. Entertained. Is that it? Is that everyone? Boom. Hello, Boom. Boom. Welcome to the program today. Yeah, so again, hey, K-pop girl, welcome to the program. So hopefully y'all are having a good time here. Yeah, this whole People's Party thing is a sham. I'm sorry, it just stinks. Like, it's really stinky, like it smells bad, and it's just something I don't want to be around. And there's one other thing that I want to talk about here. There's one other thing. Okay, let me start by saying this.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
So there is this bizarre conspiracy theory going around that AOC lied about voting for the CARES Act, that AOC secretly voted for the CARES Act and just tried to cover it up. And I got into a bunch of arguments yesterday on Twitter and YouTube about this, and one of the things that they try to use as evidence is this video, the voice vote, where you can only hear people saying aye or nay or no, right? So that's the only thing you can only hear. There's no camera pan, there's no video accompanying, you can only hear it, okay? So I want you, now people are saying that only one person in the entirety of the House of Representatives voted against the CARES Act because one person screamed, and you can hear kind of some trailing voices, but they deny the fact that there are trailing voices. They say that only one person voted against the CARES Act, and here is the audio. And again, I want you to really listen to the audio. So I'm going to put a lot of gain on this, right? So I'm going to give you like some time to ramp it up, and if you feel the need to lower your own volume, that's okay.
All time for debate has expired.
Listen.
Pursuant to how...
Listen to who says no here. Now, there are people that saying only one person, and it's a man, that said only one man voted against the CARES Act. That's the conspiracy theory, so listen. And again, I gotta boost the audio. I'm sorry, but just listen.
House Resolution 911. The previous question is ordered on the motion. The question is on adoption of the motion. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker.
So again, you can hear an extremely loud person scream, no, followed by some, like echoes, like, no. Like, you can hear the trailing of different voices, right? And then also, why does AOC need to scream? Like, no one needs to scream or shout. Someone can just say aye or nay, and there's like, they're carried along, but they're not like audible in these microphones, right? But this is the Jimbo Dumbo force the vote conspiracy theorists, right, are saying that only one male voted against the CARES Act. Only one member of the House of Representatives. So 434 people voted for it, and one person voted against it. That is the claim? How dumb could you possibly be? Has there ever been something that every single person voted for it besides one? What the fuck? It's dumb. It's ridiculous. And again,
only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
It's just, again, these motherfuckers, man. They're just so stupid. And they claim to be like hardcore leftists. Only the... these are the hardcore leftists. That's what they are. Paul Berry, so we're never going to push AOC to the left. What does that mean? More and more people are talking about it, Andrea. They're talking about her from the idea phase. I can't. Oh my God.
And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, where they thought about it.
Oh, anyway, we got to go into the Trump segment of this show. I know I've been having a lot of fun with the force the vote dumb lefties, right? But we got to go into the Trump segment. Actually, you know what? Before we get into the Trump segment, let's get into the false flag operation. I should say the false flag operation. But I don't care if it's a false flag operation. That's the thing, is I just don't care. So apparently, right, and this is according to reports, Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell's homes were vandalized, and I've got an accompanying image of this is Nancy Pelosi's house. Cancel rent 2K. We want everything. Now, my favorite part of this image is that they didn't get any paint on the brick. That's very, like, that is some skill right there. She didn't get, like, none of the, like, and all, again, on this side, too, there's no painting on the brick. That's incredible craftsmanship. Right? That is incredible craftsmanship. So, now again, is this a false flag? Maybe. Possible. I don't care. It's fucking funny. And that's all I, like, the pig head, that's fucking fun. Again, I don't care if it's a false flag. I don't, like, are these anarchists that spray paint? Like, if they are, cool. If they're not, cool. I think it's funny either way. Like, that's the thing. And so, again, I want to read this article from CNN here because it's just kind of funny. The homes of the two highest-ranking members of Congress, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, have been vandalized, police said, after the Senate stalled Friday on increasing stimulus checks to $2,000 for millions of Americans. After McConnell's Louisville home was marked with graffiti early Saturday morning, the Kentucky Republican denounced the incident as radical tantrum. Vandalism and the policies of fear, politics of fear, have no place in our society. My wife and I have never been intimidated by this toxic playbook. We just hope our neighbors in Louisville aren't too inconvenienced by this radical tantrum, McConnell said in its statement. Where's my money? Was sprawled on McConnell's front door in what looks like white spray paint, according to photos taken by CNN. I just love how mainstream media talks about this stuff. It's just really funny. Louisville Metro Police Department's 5th Division is investigating the matter and have not yet identified any suspects. I just love it. It's great. It's wonderful. Pelosi and Democrats moved quickly to bring legislation, blah, blah, blah. The House passed the legislation. The second stimulus, who cares? Right? None of that shit matters. It's just really funny. This is just really fucking funny. Like, it's just, like, again, I love it. I love it. We want everything. Damn right I want everything. Fuck. God, that's funny as hell. Again, false flag or not, it's good content, and that's all I can say. My lord. I heard AOC she had the flu that day. Also just woke up after drinking the night earlier. It was definitely her. I'm not for electoralism, but I am not forced not to push things with an electoral process because they've what? Anyway, next. Alright, this is gonna be a double feature. You ready for a double feature? I am. I'm ready for a double feature. All right, so we got some senators, people that have won some senatorial elections. We've got some senators that have signed on to this bizarre, like, conspiratorial kind of, like, seditious little letter, trying to overturn the results of the election. And it's certainly a little bizarre. And I've also got an accompanying video here of Peter Navarro saying some very questionable things. So I want to read this statement, real quick, and then we'll go from there. So, joint statement from Senators Cruz, Johnson, Langford, Daines, Kennedy, Blackburn, Braun, Senators-elect Loomis, Marshall, Haggerty, Tuberville. U.S. Senators Ted Cruz, blah, 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 in the following statement in advance of the Electoral College certification process on Jan 6th. America is a republic whose leaders are chosen in a democratic election, in democratic elections. Okay, so far so good. Those elections in turn must comply with the Constitution and with federal and state law. When the voters fairly decide on the text is really hard to read. Pursuant to the rule of law, the losing candidate should acknowledge and respect the legitimacy of that election. Agreed. We're on the same page here. And if the voters choose to elect a new office holder, our nation should have a peaceful transfer of power. The election of 2020, like the election of 2016, was hard fought and in many swing states narrowly decided. The 2020 election, however, featured unprecedented allegations of voter fraud. This is, again, allegations. Reminder, Republicans will say, whenever there's sexual assault allegations against Republicans, oh, they're just allegations. There's no proof. Oh, Brett Kavanaugh just had allegations of rape and sexual harassment and assault. They're just allegations. And now, okay, we've got allegations of voter fraud. That's the most important thing. Yeah, sure, all the investigations have led to nothing, but they're allegations of voter fraud. Don't you understand? The alla-fucking-gations. Don't you understand, right? Violations in law enforcement of election law and other voting irregularities. Voter fraud has posed a persistent challenge in our elections, although its breadth and scope are disputed. Again, trying to make it seem like it's up in the air. The 2020 election, however, featured oh, did I already read that? Oh my god. Voter fraud has posed a persistent challenge in our elections, although I'm so sorry. By any measure, the allegations of fraud and irregularities in the 2020 election exceed any in our lifetime. Again, allegations. All of a sudden, allegations are the most important thing in the world. I can't read the rest of this. I'm sorry, the print is too hard to read. But here's Peter Navarro saying some very interesting stuff on Fox News.
I would not be surprised to see a special counsel on this. And Vice President Pence, he has the authority to give that 10-day window to do what needs to get done. And I cannot imagine when he looks at the facts, he won't vote the right way on that.
And you know, Peter, the interesting thing is that 10-day window it is something that they can change the date. The first January 20th cannot be changed. That's constitutional. But this whole certification thing, the dates can be changed.
Well, it can be changed, anyway, actually.
Peter
we can
Navarro.
go past that date. We can go past that date.
Oh.
We can go past that date if we need to. And we get news.
Right.
I would not be surprised.
So stupid. So stupid. Thank you. Thank you.
I really, I just, her, fucking, what is this? Fucking Janine or what? I don't know, whichever one. When she's like, oh!
Past that date. We can go past that date.
Oh.
We can go past that date.
Oh! Oh! Well, golly gosh! I just love it. Oh my god, man. Oh, this is so cringy. This whole thing is just so cringy. Seriously. And again, I'm sorry to throw these people under the bus over and over, but the force the vote people are going to turn into this. This is the force the vote people tomorrow. Once the vote hasn't been forced, they're going to turn into this. And it's just going to be... Oh my god. Oh, it's just... I really just cannot. There absolutely should be investigations of allegations, including the people that made the allegations. Absolutely. I would even go as far as to say, abso-fucking-lutely. Right? Hopefully my tone shouldn't be policed. I want to tell everyone, I've gotten a lot of new subscribers over the last week or so. And I want to introduce you to other segments on my channel. Above It All is not the only segment that I do on my channel. I got some smudging on my glasses. On Sundays, every Sunday, sometime in the afternoon, I will start another series called Sunday Run Day, where I do speed runs of various video games. Now you might be wondering, what is a speed run? A speed run is where you try to complete a game as fast as possible. And so every Sunday I do various speed runs, and it's usually really fun, and I have a good time, and I'm just streaming all day, and I'm down to talk about whatever you want in the chat. So if you want to come into the chat and ask me questions, I'll answer them. It's free form commentary while I play some chill video games. So I don't know when I'm going to start today, maybe around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but there you go. So if that interests you, definitely tune in. If it doesn't interest you, then go fuck yourself. And I want you to unsubscribe from me right now. So there you go. What is a video game? Me whammin'. That I'll give you an informative video game introduction later today. What am I playing? I'm not sure yet. I usually decide last minute, you know? There was once upon a time a couple years ago where I was deciding the schedules a week in advance, and now I just wing it. I say, what do I feel like playing today? I don't know. Fuck it. We'll throw this in. Anyway, I've got another really bizarre clip here that I want to show, and yeah, so let's watch.
Bless you for being here today. I have an important question for you. You just heard Ted. what he said. Are you ready to show America that Georgia's a red state? Yes! We're going to get it done! We have a lot of work to do. It's going to be a busy week for you.
There seems to be like around the same amount of people that showed up for Kelly Loeffler that showed up for the Force the Vote rally. Just saying. But again, she is such a bad public speaker. But again, she's an appointed senator. Senator Perrin's appointed. That's what she is.
Y'all, you know why? Because we're going to do exactly what Ted said. We're going to call everyone we know, and make sure that they get out and vote for David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler. That's why.
I don't know why the video is so glitchy, right? But like, this is a really bizarre video, and I like just jumping in on the Georgia runoffs. Like, it's just something I can touch on every day. So, just let me have this one.
President Trump coming. Who's going up to Dalton to welcome President Trump to Georgia? That's right.
Isn't that tomorrow, the Trump rally? Can someone remind me?
We're going to get this done. We got to show President Trump a warm Peach State welcome. We also have to call our friends, our family, our coworkers, our enemies, our frenemies, and you've got to get out of it. Like my good friend Marsha Blackburn says, 5 calls a day.
This feels like I feel like I'm gonna get a phone call after watching this with someone who says 7 days. Like, what the fuck is going on? Is this was this recorded on a fucking VHS camera?
That's right. We just got 3 days to get it done because you know what Chuck Schumer said, now we take Georgia, then we change America. And he's been very clear about that radical agenda. Exactly what Ted said. It's higher taxes on every hardworking Georgian. It's the Green New Deal. It's open borders. It's lockdowns. Look what the Democrats...
I love standing in front of a bunch of trees, like the whole background is green, and then you shit on green. Like, yeah, no, the Green New Deal sucks, I say, standing in front of an entirely green background. I don't know, it's just a minor observation. I think it's funny.
It's lockdowns. Look what the Democrats are doing in California, New York, Illinois. They're taking away our freedom, our personal liberties, our religious. They're keeping our kids.
Anyway, you get the point. What the fuck is wrong with this video? Serious, I have no idea what's going on with the video. But anyway, you get the point. This dumb bitch is out there going like, they're gonna take away our freedoms. Our freedoms are under attack. It's just like, I don't know, man. It's just really funny. This is the thing. I love, like, explaining language to people. Freedom? What does that mean? Freedom? What? Freedom to what? Right? Liberty? Our personal liberties? How about my liberty to go to the grocery store and not catch an illness that will leave me diseased for the rest of my life? Can I have that liberty? How about the liberty of being able to drink clean water? Where's that liberty? Right? Again, these words just don't mean anything. And I love making fun of Republicans. And again, I think the Trump rally is coming soon, and that's going to be really, 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 really funny, and I'm looking forward to that, and I'm excited for how this runoff election is going to go. I'm very, very excited for it, because it sure certainly will be a good time, and to be honest, I do hope the Democrats win. I'm not, they're probably not going to win, let's be honest, but it would be rad, it would be pretty cool. First gamer president, or first gamer senator, I mean, that would be pretty cool, but, probably not gonna happen. But yeah, so that's all I got to say. Kelly ass motherfucking Loeffler, again, appointed senator. She was not elected because I don't know, that's just the thing. We just appoint senators, I guess. But yeah, so I'd like to say thank you for watching today's episode of Above It All. Again, I will be back later with some video games, and we will be having a good time. So if you have a question, if you want to, just whatever, just fucking go watch my stream. Why won't you? Seriously, if you don't watch the stream, you're kind of a lame motherfucker. And I'm just saying, let me just tell you, but, and I will say this, and I will be very explicit on this.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ
would not watch Sunday Runday. So again, I will be starting the stream maybe around 2 p.m., maybe 3. I will be playing probably around 3 or 4, maybe 5 different games. I do want to do a little bit of variety today. So I will also be playing The Grinch. That will be happening, and I will also be playing some other games. So definitely check it out, and I might throw in some Mega Man. And yeah, so again, thank you for watching. I appreciate you for just being alive. You're just really cool people. And y'all have a good one now. So there you go.
And he's like this, and we will, I need water, help me, I need water, help. And this is on live television.
Watch Hillary examine the terrain. Watch a campaign with the man Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine in the membrane. Tim Kaine in the brain.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Not good. Believe me, not good.
They're not accountable to anyone. I get 10 to 12 million views a month, and they won't come out and address my progressive audience. Show up today at our town hall. Every fucking one of them is selling you out. Show up today. Show us who isn't endorsing #TheVote. All those motherfuckers who didn't show up today at our town hall.
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Dumb people, liberal people. $7 million for reef fish management. $25 billion to combat Asian carp. $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
And then they have cans of soup. Soup.
Antifa exists.
Get your words straight, Jack.
Look, talk about education. I propose that what we take is those very poor school, not daycare, school, to help them deal with how to raise their children. It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night, the phone. Make sure the kids hear words. A kid coming from a very poor school, or a very poor background, will hear 4 million words fewer spoken by the time they get there. There's so much. No, I'm going to go like the rest of them do, twice over.